What's up, beautiful people? Right now you are listening to the voice of a Selz, Jean-Pierre Jr., also known as Selz. Listen, if y'all trying to follow me on any social media, my Instagram is SelzJP, SELZJP. My Facebook is my name, Selz Jean-Pierre Jr. Type my name into YouTube, you'll find my channel. I speak, I play, I produce. So if you need any of those things, please feel free to hit me up. You can hit me up through social media on my business email, which is selzjpinc@gmail.com. selzjpinc@gmail.com. Check out my hashtags, Selz Speaks, Selz and Keys, which is SELZNKEYZ, and Selz Produces. I'm looking forward to connecting with you guys. All right, be blessed. What up, peoples? I'm glad y'all still rocking with me. Like I say, y'all already know what time it is. It's time for Selz Speaks. Man, this podcast is it's more enjoyable. You know, I'm trying to get better and create better content for you guys. So I hope you guys are enjoying it. Now, the topic for today, the one I catch the most slack for ever so often, why I don't believe in dating. Now, let me start with my disclaimer. I don't have any problem with anybody who dates. I don't think there's a big issue with it. If you want to date and that's how you choose to pursue, your relationships, that's perfectly fine. I'm not saying it's a sin. I'm not saying God looks on it, bad on it. If that's how you want to go about it, if you feel like that's how you got to move, so be it. However, if you're asking me from my observations and how I've seen it work out, I just don't believe in it. I just don't. And so usually when I say that, it's like so many questions and, how are we supposed to get married and da-da-da. So let me start off first with my issues with dating. This is my biggest issue. So the concept of dating, and so we'll clear out the playing field because I know in today's world, like dating ain't even what it used to be when I was coming up. So dating, to me, I will define it, is when you are speaking to someone exclusively, hopefully you're not entertaining someone else, and you guys are getting to know each other, getting to know each other's families, building a relationship. And then at some point you may decide, okay, you feel like you know this person enough and this person has checked off enough things off your checklist to marry them. So they're good enough to marry, and then you take all the information that you've had from dating and you now upgrade to courting, or we're engaged, and go from engaged to being married, etc., etc. So this is my issue with dating. See, when you date someone, it's just like an audition. You're just getting the best that person has to offer. Like if you're just dating just to date, like you have no intentions of getting married to that person, etc., even then, it's like, it's just a waste of time. I'm going to say why. Because, if the person's on the same page, allegedly, then it's like, in a way, I guess you could try and argue why it'd be better. But then it's really not, because no one's feelings are ever really the same. Like, you could tell a person, look, this is what it is. And they're like, oh, okay, no problem. But then one person always tends to catch feelings that the other person doesn't reciprocate. So even if you let them know, like, look, I just want to date, but I'm not trying to get married to anything like that. And then even then, it's like, what's the point in investing time, energy, feelings, emotion, vulnerability with a person that you don't see yourself going all the way with? You know what I mean? It's like, if that's the case, then you might as well just have a fling. And if you're someone who is trying to follow a Christian lifestyle, you're not even going to go in that direction, because that's going to lead you to do things you shouldn't even be doing. So when it comes to that aspect of it, it's like, okay, you're going to meet someone and you guys are both on your best behavior, showing the best that you both have, both have to offer. Okay. And based on what you guys both see from each other, you'll now decide, okay, now we're ready to go to the next level. But the issue with that is, even when you get married, it's like, it's different. It's completely different. It's not like the person that you date is the same person you marry. They're very, very different people. And then, let's say, you're allowed to have the blessing of a child. All right. You guys changed again. So it's like the person that you dated is not the person that you married, is not the person who is the parent of your children. And so even with that, right? Like the concept of dating is, it's like a gamble every single time. Will you be the one? Will you be the person I'm gonna spend the rest of my life with? I don't know. But you know what? I'm about to spend my time, my energy, and my resources on a maybe you are. Maybe you are the person for me. So, you're with a person and then you out here spend like 3 to 5 years seeing them every day or often, changing your plans for them. You wanted to go to school out of state, but because they may not be able to, you decide to stay in state. You had a full scholarship to this place, but you take the partial scholarship so that you guys can still stay together. You had opportunities abroad that you could have taken, but you let them go. I know some people who've done these things, had amazing opportunities, but for the sake of love and relationship, they decided, to put their relationship first, only to find out later in life that wasn't even the person that they married. And it's like, yo, you gave up these things for no reason, because at the end of the day, you have nothing to show for it. I've seen people spend countless amounts of money, endless amounts of money on their partners, fix this, fix that, help them with this, help them grow, help them with their business plan, help them with bad habits, help them through trauma, all of these different things, only for them to not end up together. And now you have this better version of the person you dated who ends up with someone else, and it's like the other person is enjoying the benefits of the work that you put into that person. And there's nothing wrong with that, because at the end of the day, if you just want, whoever you're with to be better, you just want them to be better, it shouldn't necessarily be better for you. I want them to be better so that only I can, enjoy the fruits of my investment in them. But at the same time too, like who wants to invest in someone and not get a return? Nobody invests in anything without wanting a return. That's just what it is. And I don't think that makes you necessarily selfish. If you're going to give your all to somebody, you want that reciprocated. You want somebody to put their all right back into you the same way you putting it into them. And so I say that to say, like, every time you date, it's just a gamble. Like, we say we're dating to get to know the person, but you're not really getting to know who that person is. And you're just seeing them on their best behavior. Then they kind of get comfortable and you kind of sort of see who they are, but not really, because the only time you will really know a person for who they are, like who they truly are, is when you're like truly, truly friends. Because when you're dating, they're doing certain things and modifying certain things to make you happy. So example, let's say I really, really hate ice skating, but I'm dating someone who loves ice skating. I never want to go ice skating, but because my partner loves it, I'll say, let's go ice skating, and I'll go, and shoot, I might even go a little more often than I usually would, and my partner might feel like, oh wow, he likes it, or at least he likes it more than everybody else would think I like it. And yet, with my friends know I hate it. So my friends would be like, yo, we going ice skating, and I'll be like, no, I'm not going. But when my partner's like, oh, babe, I'm going ice skating, you want to come? I'm like, all right, yeah, let's go. And so now what happens is, during our time of dating, I'm always doing these different things, okay? And then now when we get married, now it's like, we're married now. And you start to really be who you are. So now she's like, oh, babe, let's go dating. It's like, I don't want to go. And she's like, well, we used to do it all the time when we were dating. And it was like, yeah, but I never liked it. I only did it to make you happy. And so it's like when you get married, it's not even so much that you get, well, it is that you get comfortable, but you go back to being who you actually are, right? So we keep going further. Like, that's why a lot of times, okay, you have, and I'll call out the guys on this one. You have guys who just jump from woman to woman, and they're constantly talking to multiple women at the same time. Then one day they find this girl who's amazing and all these wonderful things, and oh, she changed my life. And okay, boom, you go from talking to multiple women, being as I can't say it on the podcast. We'll just say being as flingy and everywhere as possible. Okay, just jumping from girl to girl or talking to multiple girls at the same time. Then all of a sudden, you find this girl. She's amazing. You love her, and during the whole time that you're dating, you're focused only on her. Oh, I'm never going to talk to multiple women again. This is it for me, etc., etc. And then you get married. And then, maybe a year or two, great. And then you guys start to have conflict. And you're dealing with these conflicts. But the conflicts are, they're happening. And there's times you're getting frustrated. And there's certain things that you wanted fixed from the get-go, but 2 years later it's still not fixed. And there's certain things that you thought, all right, if I talk about it and I'm nice to her about this way, later on maybe like this. And certain things you expected, they're not there. And certain things you wanted, they're not there. And your idea of what your marriage was going to be by a certain time is not what it actually is. And what do you think is going to happen? You start to go back to your natural habits. So if your natural habits were every time a woman stresses you out, you just find comfort and attention in another woman, that's what you're going to do. It doesn't even need to be intentional. It's what you've made habitual. So what ends up happening is we always revert to who we were before we were dating somebody, because that's who we were at our most natural. Just listen, don't think that you're going to participate in a behavior for more than 20 years of your life and never take the time to intentionally unlearn some of your bad habits, and then feel like because you get married, oh boom, the magic switch is flipped and now you're the most faithful guy in the world. Nah, you never practiced being faithful. You never practiced focusing on only one woman. You were just used to jumping from girl to girl to girl. It's not going to just happen because somebody shows up in your life. Not at all. Those bad habits will rear their ugly head. And that's my issue with dating. It's that when you sit there and you behave a way, and then now somebody comes into your life and they're supposed to invoke and encourage all this change. And so now you're putting on a front for this person. This person's putting on a front for you. Everybody's on the best behavior. And you go into marriage thinking that the person that you dated is who they are. And it's not. They're not. It's just everybody was on their best behavior. So, and you know what? I'm going to keep focusing on this because I'm going to try and make this like a two-parter. So let's see. So like even when it comes to the qualifications that you have for a relationship are very different from the qualifications that you have for marriage. So I'll be transparent. So like for myself, right? If I was dating you, I need you to be fine. I need you to be funny. I need you to be like cool, a good time. I wanted you to be, in a sense, like a freak, somebody who, spontaneous, at the drop of a dime will like just grab me and be affectionate and all these things. There's certain things I'm worried about because I'm just thinking about being in a relationship. I'm just thinking about dating you. I'm just thinking about, all I'm trying to do is just have a good time. That's all I'm trying to do is just have a good time. But when you get married, that changes. When you get married, it's all about, how do you handle conflict? Have you remediated all the trauma in your life? Do you know how to communicate and work through issues? Do you know how to compromise? How are you as a mother? What's your cooking like? What's your relationship with your family? Like, how do you deal with that? How do you deal with authority? Where do you want to live? What kind of lifestyle are you trying to have? Because all of a sudden, see, kicking it with somebody and having a good time with somebody every time we go on a date or every time we go out, that's one thing. But when you start transitioning and you want some, I'm thinking about we getting married and stuff like that, that becomes a completely different thing. And this is what I'm talking about. When you guys start dating, all right, and I'm saying dating without the intention of being married, like y'all just dating a date, it's like what you want from the person is different. Because now when you start thinking about marriage, well, isn't that what happens? You date a person, then it's like, okay, I want to get married. I'm thinking about us taking it to the next level. Then you got to ask a whole bunch of questions. How you feel about kids? How you feel about this? How you feel about that? And the crazy thing is, it's like you start hearing some of the answers and it's like, whoa, I don't know if we're going to be able to get married. But it's like you were good enough to date the person, but now you start thinking, well, I don't know if we can get married with all this. So it's like, what is the point of building a tower that you eventually have to break down? If anything, if you're going to save your time and energy, go into it knowing, I'm in it to win it. But when you're going into it like, let's just see. Well, guess what? That's 2-3 years of feelings and emotions, of investments, of secrets. You getting to know their family and building bonds with them. And so They're learning you. They're learning your secrets. They take a piece of you. And then if it don't work out, you go to the next person and that person gets a piece of you. Then you go to the next person. That person gets a piece of you. So it's like now you got multiple people walking around with the deepest parts of you. Not because you necessarily did something wrong, because you are supposed to be vulnerable. But then it's like, then what? So I'm pointing out all the problems in this one. So that means you guys got to stay tuned for the next one, because I'm going to definitely give the solutions. So my thing is like, I don't see the point in just going from person to person, giving them pieces of yourself, not even knowing if this is it. And also the thing is like, it's exhausting. I feel like there's a certain amount of love and grace that we as human beings have. And that love and grace is meant for our spouse. But we sit there going from person to person, relationship to relationship, and we run out. So by the time we actually meet the person that God had for us, we are technically all loved out. We don't have no love left to give. We've been hurt too much, lied to too much, disrespected too much, betrayed too much. So that when we actually meet somebody who's worth it, they have to go through way more than they deserve to go through just to reach us. So I'm going to stop here. But, y'all definitely got to tune into part 2. So I'm going to check with y'all. All right, Selz speaks.
Like what you heard, right? What I need you to do is, 1, subscribe to this podcast. 2, share it with somebody. Don't be greedy now. 3, y'all need to join SOP's social media family. Instagram, SOP_Ministry HCL. Facebook and YouTube, SOP Ministry HCL. Get our original songs available on all streaming media. You want to give us a financial donation to help push this cause forward? We appreciate that. Send us that cash app at $SOP Ministry HCL. Be blessed, family. See y'all next week.